With a news update on WHTC Highlands Cool FM, I'm Gary Stevens. We are learning more about what led to the closing of I-196 near West Michigan Regional Airport this week. On Tuesday night, State Department of Transportation crews had the westbound-southbound lanes of the freeway blocked off at the Lincoln Road M40 exit. This was due to what officials say were a number of small sinkholes that had developed near the 45-mile marker east of 60th Street, with the largest being about 6 feet by 6 feet wide and 8 feet deep. They had cropped up in the median and along the road shoulders and apparently came from a culvert failure underneath. No motorists were injured, and there were no reports of any vehicle damage as a result of these sinkholes. MDOT crews will use small bundled pipes to create a single pipe in the damaged culvert, much as surgeons were to implant a stent to blocked arteries around a human heart. This short-term fix should be completed by next Tuesday, with future plans for completely replacing the culvert, which has been in place since the freeway was built about 60 years ago. Opposed to detour as traffic heading towards Saugatuck exiting at M40, following that routing to US 31 and then heading south to re-enter the freeway. Eastbound, northbound traffic should not be affected by this closure. The culvert was not part of a $2.3 million resurfacing project done 5 years ago along that stretch of highway. What began as a crash investigation near Spring Lake last Friday has turned into a search for those who burgled an auto parts store. According to Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, deputies were dispatched to the area of 138th Avenue and Leonard Street on a report of a single-vehicle wreck. When they arrived, they found the vehicle unoccupied, and based on the extent of damage, they believe that anyone who was inside at the time may have sustained serious injuries. A further look into the matter found that the vehicle had been stolen during a breaking and entering incident during the overnight hours at Joe's Auto Parts off of Apple Avenue. The Ravenna area retailer suffered a loss of over $15,000 through damage to its property, as well as items taken during the incident. Anyone with any information on either the crash or the burglary is asked to contact the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office or Ottawa County Silent Observer. An issue every community has had to deal with and continues to deal with is how to handle the homeless. A homeless encampment on the north side of Kalamazoo along Edward Street will be removed starting today.
Tents along the street have been tagged by the city with a notice that the area will be cleared. They need to move somewhere else. Northside residents brought the issue to the City Commission Monday night, saying there are safety and sanitary concerns. Kalamazoo Public Safety has been called to the area for 330 calls so far this year. I'm Michael Arney.
Lakeshore goes about this in a different way, though, according to Jason Parks of Gateway Mission.
Throughout the last 2 years after we launched our Hope Outreach team, really having personal interactions with a lot of those homeless camps around here that I know you were familiar with. A lot of the cleanup happened in collaboration with Holland Police Department, and they were very helpful in that, and other organizations. I've heard personally just from the downtown tenants and business owners that, versus 24 months ago, there's been a lot of movement.
Although summer doesn't end on the calendar until September 22nd, the season in downtown Howland is winding down this week. On the heels of the last Howland American Legion Band concert this past Tuesday evening, which was moved to the Herring-Howland Civic Center place from Collin Park due to weather concerns, comes the last Downtown Street Performers Series session tonight, as 8th Street will be blocked off from Columbia to River Avenues. Over 25 artists are slated to participate. At that same 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. time frame, Gentex and Latin Americans United for Progress will team to present a block party at the parking lot outside the Civic Center, according to Cara Alvarez with Downtown Howland.
Free food trucks, ice cream, games, giveaway, entertainment. Really just a fun way to mark the end of summer, and we're so excited.
There's also the last Skate, Blade, and Scoot Thursday at the Howland Ice Park, and the final performance of the Summer Concert Series at Collin Park is tomorrow evening, featuring the conjunto band Los Estrellas de Oro. An online link for more information is in this story at WHTC.com. A 55-year-old man and a 13-year-old boy were hospitalized after being injured in a crash of a small plane near Vicksburg last night. State police say the plane crashed in a grassy field near W Avenue East, just after 7 p.m. The two were trapped inside. Pavilion Township Fire Department emergency crews were able to extricate them. They were taken to a hospital with serious injuries, not hospital named. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating. 25-year-old Kenyon Smith of Kalamazoo has been convicted by a jury of assault with intent to murder for a March 2025 shooting that badly wounded a Kalamazoo Township police officer. Smith's girlfriend called 911 March 27th last year, told dispatchers Smith had pulled a gun on her at their home on Kendall Avenue. He ran almost 3 miles to the Kalamazoo Public Schools Administration building on Howard Street, where he got into a shootout with police. Officer Evan Finch was shot in one of his legs. He's still recovering from that wound. Smith faces up to life in prison with a sentencing of September 18th. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy toured the Gerald Ford International Airport yesterday to get a first-hand look at upgrades and improvements that are being made at that Grand Rapids facility. It's updating its communication systems, installing fiber to replace wire and installing new air traffic control radios. Duffy says it's the second phase of the project, which will slowly roll out new software starting next month, and the upgrade dates are expected to be mostly finished by the end of 2028. An asphalt dump truck rolled on in Grand Rapids on southbound US 131 just minutes before 5 last night near Burton Street. The truck was cut off by a car merging onto US 131. Driver of the truck, 22-year-old Grand Rapids man, busted arm, burns to his back, hospitalized in stable condition. Southbound lanes reopened about an hour later. Congressman John James says he'll announce his lieutenant governor running mate today. James won the Republican Party primary for governor last week, saying narrowing a large amount of interested candidates has been the most difficult part of the process. He hasn't released any names of people he is considering. He has to submit his running mate to the state Republican Party by tomorrow. MERS News reporting Macomb County Chair Gus Ganem says the lieutenant governor nominee will be State Representative Jay DeBoyer of Clay. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers approved an important federal permit for Enbridge Energy to build a tunnel under the Straits of Mackinac for its Line 5 oil and natural gas pipelines. Construction has been delayed due to the Michigan Supreme Court ordering the State Public Service Commission to redo its analysis. Enbridge wants to build a 3.9-mile tunnel under the lake for Line 5, which runs from Superior, Wisconsin, to Sarnia, Ontario. U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra, a one-time Holland congressman, former chair of the state Republican Party, is the target of a parliamentary petition seeks to have him removed from Canada, with over 29,000 people reportedly signing it thus far. The petition claims Hoekstra has damaged relations between the two nations, asking Ottawa to review alleged American interference in Canadian domestic affairs. Joe Adell's two-run homer in the fifth inning off of Framber Valdez put visiting Cleveland ahead to stay as the Guardians dumped the Tigers last night 6-4.
Framber makes a living down at the bottom, and for us, we came out with an approach of just trying to get the ball up, trying to put up good swings, and we did a great job creating traffic and creating pressure. And like I said, any night, he can do his thing and he can get in the rhythm where he starts to deal, and I'm glad we came out on the other side of it.
The series at Comerica Park in Detroit concludes this afternoon with coverage from Dan Dickerson at 12:45 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Alex Bregman cracked 2 homers and had 7 RBI as the Chicago Cubs overpowered the Nationals in Washington last night 12-6.
Felt good today. Felt like was consistent with the mechanics and was in a position to get some good swings off, and fortunate enough to get them out. I think the guys did a great job of getting on base in front of me and kind of making my job easier of just getting the ball elevated in the air, and that was great.
The series at Nationals Park concludes this afternoon. Luis Castillo and 2 relievers teamed on a 2-hit, 13-strikeout shutout as Will Venable's White Sox whitewashed the visiting Cincinnati Reds last night 5-0.
That was awesome. In control the whole time, just the one hit over 6 innings, 7 innings. I don't even remember what it was. 7 innings. Just outstanding. I thought he attacked the zone really well. And you've got to have a lot of faith and trust in a guy that's been there and done that. And obviously he came through tonight.
The series at Wright Field in Chicago concludes this afternoon. Samuel Gill's sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 10th inning enabled the West Michigan Whitecaps to edge the visiting Lansing Lugnuts last night 6-5. The series at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park continues this evening. The Detroit Lions begin preseason action tonight in Cincinnati against the Bengals. Coverage led by Dan Millers at 6 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Get the latest news anytime at WHTC.com.